have passed, come and gone. Despite our years of hate, struggle, and violence, I am here to voice my love of Our Lady's Black excellence. Beautiful brown-skinned girl refused to give up her seat. Oh, the strength and courage it must have taken, given that girl was only 15. Claudette Cove in Montgomery, Alabama, what a queen. The mindset she must have been in to be tired of America's racist games. So she stayed in her rightly given seat and showed that white woman, just because of your color, you are not better than me. December 1st, when inspiration for boycott began, Rosa Parks refused to be made lower just because the color of her skin. From death threats to no job, that queen kept on, never to stop. Active in the Black Power movement and working beside Martin Luther King, all the courage she had shown, and all the inspiration she would bring. Growing up in the presence of the KKK, living through the Great Depression, but had a loving family. Top of her class, boss lady at her best. Cowboy hat, pink sunglasses is how she often dressed. Flo Kennedy, powerful activist, passionate feminist, working endlessly to fight against racism and discrimination. She urged women to examine the source of their oppression, fighting endlessly, refusing to feel inferior because of her complexion. Her efforts and voice always had true purpose. To sum it up, she detailed her protest strategy of simply making white people nervous. First female, self-made. Millionaire? No shade. With all the oppression, our people always weighed down. Bet they never would have thought it'd be cocoa skin with the crown. Hair care for my black girls. Why shouldn't we embrace the pop in our curls? Madam C.J. Walker, yeah, she did that. Not to mention being an activist, and not to mention philanthropist. I can't name them all, the many wonders of our culture. It makes me feel proud to be black. Best believe black don't crack. Tried to crack us like an egg, tried to beat us like dough. The best recipe they tried to make was trying to keep us on the low. But the low is where seeds grow, where beautiful things flourish. Not to mention when we rise above. All our haters, we've had enough. We have 1 month, although it should be the whole year, to reminisce and celebrate our Black history pioneers.
All right, young lady. Very good. Wendy Noche.
I wanted to share really quick. So I looked up Claudette Colvin, and I don't know if you can see it. That's her when she was 15. Does she not resemble the girl that just did the poem? And she was 15 when she refused to give up her seat.
Yeah. There's a wonderful book out, by the way, with her. Children's, not a children's book, but a youth book. Yeah. So.
Okay. Okay. Wow. I looked at it and I was like, I wish she had have done the video facing forward to get the facial expressions.
Exactly like her. Yeah.
By the way, if you're not familiar with Claudette Colvin, I do have some books over at the church there that I can give you for free. They're part of our giveaway collection. So you definitely want to have that. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm in.
All right.
Are these the stacks of books in the room?
Yes.
So I have a 3-book max. I can only get 3 books.
You can get as many as you want.
No, sir. No, see, that's what happens here every time.
Yeah. All right.
Well, welcome back to the second half where the ladies are taking over to do this thing like we do it. Thank you, Nate, for allowing us to have the reins again. So let's keep it up. Jacqueline, I really enjoyed your poetry. I'm going to have to go back. And so for anyone that's just joining, make sure that you go back onto Facebook. You can go on to any of our pages that have shared it and go back and see and re-listen and hear Jacqueline's poetry. And so I'm excited to go back and hear it again, because from what I've heard, I can only imagine that is something. So I'm sorry I'm late, but I can't wait to hear it again. So, and hopefully we'll hear your voice again, Ro. Hey, Ro, are you sharing tonight again? Did I miss you already?
Sure. No, I haven't shared anything. I've just
Okay.
Jack.
Okay. So we will keep up. We'll start then with Ro, and then I'll do one, and then we'll go to Jacqueline. Miss Queenie, have you started writing yet? Have you any poems from you yet or anything?
She's still there.
She has a couple things coming up, but
I saw
no.
the mute.
Oh, she's
Okay,
on
I
mute?
saw the
Okay.
mute come off.
Okay.
So I'll take that as a yes and that you're going to share. Just blink twice if you're going to share if you're going to share something with us. Okay, so Ro, let's hear from you.
Okay. I'm going to read Good Morning Love. I call it the Bridge series. I won't tell you the story about walking across the bridge, but Good Morning Love. His hold on the world is not as elusive as we think. There's a knowing that I see. Those lines he wears gently around his eyes tells me there were days when the bitterness of life did not blow the cold winds of despair, poverty, homelessness, and hunger. I can only imagine the younger version of this stately soul, one where pride strut himself down the street boldly, and there was no shame or sadness in the line he laid down to all the sweet brown mamas that crossed his path. Another glance, a second thought, and a deep breath only holds those memories loosely in his hands. The strong breeze of hard times, lost wages, and love gone wrong blows them freely from his grasp. He sits on the end of the Black Bridge now. No home, no way of showing his worth. Black, old, homeless, strain on society. These words thrown on the wall like white paint, pictures we don't fully see, sitting now, bent but not broken, holding onto a black trash bag, toting his belongings and wares along the darkened streets like broken pieces of black soul. He smiles, his eyes twinkling like burnt, forgotten ambers that may have once reflected the light as father, brother, or son. He smiles again as our paths cross over the Black footbridge. He whispers these words. Good morning, love.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You disappeared there for a moment, Ro.
I'm
There
sorry.
you go.
That was for dramatic effect.
Right. Instead of dropping the mic, she just disappeared.
Disappears.
Okay, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Mine won't be so graceful should I try to do that disappearing act. I got to fall all the way out the chair.
I better stop before I fall off the chair.
So is this the same bridge where the lady carrying the iron?
No. See, I've had a lot of opportunities to walk across bridges here in Harrisburg.
Okay.
I was working downtown at Strawberry Square. I used to walk across the State Street Bridge.
Okay.
When I was working for St. Stephen's, I used to walk across the Walnut Street Bridge. So this is the Walnut Street Bridge. And I have a ton of poetry from both bridges. I really need to write a separate book called Tales of the Bridges or something with bridges.
Only Jacqueline, I don't know if you know much about Ro, but only Ro has these experiences and her stories. Like, I mean, how long ago was that with the lady with the iron walking across the bridge?
I'll tell you the abbreviated version of it because it happened all day. So that morning I'm going across the State Street Bridge and I'm at a red light and there's a lady coming across the street. She's carrying an old Mr. Coffee pot with the whole, the whole coffee pot.
Wow.
The cord is wrapped around the top of the coffee pot, and then she has an iron, and the cord to the iron is dragging behind her, and she has no shoes on. I mean,
She
no,
must have left the hotel and decided she's just gonna take the coffee pot iron with her.
she's talking to the people, trying to, like, she's walking across the light, and the light has not turned red yet. And she's walking across the street talking, cussing at people for putting their brakes on, because she's walking across on a red light, on a green light. I thought, oh wow. So I stay at work all day, and I come home, and I'm going across the same bridge, and there she was again. She was just standing there, getting ready to go across the street. Now, she didn't have any of her appliances with her, but it gave me a heart for people who I really were struggling with, some mental health illnesses.
Yeah.
And the piece that I just read was, I used to walk across another bridge here in Harrisburg called the Walnut Street Bridge. And I used to encounter a lot of homeless people. And the gentleman I encountered was sitting at the edge of the bridge, and I just happened to glance over, and he said, good morning, love. And I said, good morning, sir. And it was just this moment. The sun was rising, and it was just this poetic moment. And I often wonder what happened to that gentleman. I pray that he's okay, but I've had a lot of experiences walking across bridges in Harrisburg.
Well, that's the key to that, though, is, and I say it in another poem, that poetry is happening all around me. It can be the slightest thing, and it doesn't have to be. And I think sometimes people are like, I need this profound moment where the universe lines up and the stars are just right. And it doesn't happen that way. It can be, like you said, a man, a homeless man sitting there minding his business, and he says good morning, and it just sparks something in your mind. Or it can be, like we heard, it can be a poem can be born of something we've experienced, something we've grown up with, something that we carry with us, and or out of healing, and I think that that's a lot of what we do with the writers workshop, is that it's an opportunity to heal as well, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be a traumatic thing. It could be the slightest thing or the biggest thing, but it's always an opportunity to share. And so I find beauty in the poetry of those that find beauty in things that you may see every day, and you might say, wow, that hit me. I want to say hello to, I still see he's still connecting to audio, but Dr. Dan Snowden, who recently celebrated a birthday. So when he comes in, we'll make sure that we wish him a happy belated birthday. So I will share, and this is, I don't even usually I date my poetry, but this is called an A.B. Sedarian. And for anyone who doesn't know, it's spelled A-B-E-C-E Darian. And it basically is, each line of the poem starts with a letter of the alphabet, and it goes in order to Z, A to Z. So this is called the A.B. Sedarian of me. Assertively articulating my position, buzzing syncopated parables, confrontational communications, declarations and differences of opinion, ecclesiastical expressions, formularies of thoughts and feelings, gargantuan grace and mercy riding shotgun, hierarchy of inherited unmerited favor, intellectual acumen verbally exonerated, jaded, a jester in the court of love, kinetic energy, electrocution of kindness, lyrical linguist, loquacious, a lover of words, mesmerized, blessings by the myriad, necessary, needed, and needy, obligated by oath, obtuse estimations, phonetic prose promised and pledged, quandaries by the day like daily bread, remorsefully remembering when I knew better, statuesque, sometimes shyly, tidings of truthfulness, brutal discernment, undertaking missions beyond my imagination, visionary, seeing in script, a vessel of sight, welterweight in wisdom, written wealth, xenogenetic thinking, the box can't contain me, yesterday's enigma, punchline not needed, zenith in this game, even at ground zero. And that is the A.B. Sedarian of me.
Go ahead.
Better come on through now. Oh,
So,
my thing on.
so
Come on
I
through
wrote
now.
that. I wrote it. Julia Mallory spoke at the, she spoke at, when we were at the bookstore still. We were still at the bookstore and she spoke, and she did an A.B. Siderian.
Okay.
So of course I had to go and look it up and go through it. So it's been a couple of years. It's been a couple of years, but it's a good exercise for anyone that is, you know, just to kind of get your mind going, to get you kind of thinking, and then, you know, the play on words, which is what, you know, what I like. So anyone who's looking for a writing prompt or something to get you going, and the A.B. Siderian can be on any topic. It doesn't have to be about you, but I would challenge you to choose a topic and then go A through Z, and, you know, and see what you can come up with.
So Wendy, for our next retreat down at the Elizabethtown College, maybe that should be the theme of our retreat, the A.B. Siderian, and see whether or not we can, just a thought, you know.
Yeah,
we can
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So yeah, real quick question for you. Do you think we need to go back down to Midtown Scholar Bookstore?
I think it would be a good thing. I think, you know, in person is always good, but we do have, you know, if we were in person, we'd have to figure out a way, like we've got Jacqueline, you know, on now, which hopefully will come back, you know, will be a regular and come back. Queenie, you know, her Queenie's Corner now, Lizelle's coming in, and we've got Lizelle. So we have people that are remote. So we would need to figure out a way to include them, which we've done, because do you remember the guy that came and he had the people in, was it China or Japan or something?
Yeah.
So we've done that before, so it's very doable.
Yeah, we got to figure it out. Yeah, okay.
But I think the in-person, I think as the weather is breaking, and you know, maybe it's time. You know,
We have
maybe
to
it's
do it on a Friday night. We maybe do a couple things, maybe do something special there, and then also continue our Friday night platform. I think
absolutely.
that might be a thought. Yeah. So, but I won't take away the flow now. We'll talk about that later. Hey, Lizelle. Hey, Dan. Good to see both of y'all.
Hi.
Lizelle and Dan. Dan,
Hello.
we were saying you when you were coming in, happy belated birthday, Dan.
Happy
Oh,
belated.
thanks. Appreciate it.
Belated.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So we have Queenie's Corner, Queenie Clem in Greenville. Jacqueline, are you also in Greenville?
No, I'm actually in the suburb of Chicago. So I'm in Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, okay. The Southern accent threw me all the way off. You are from the South, right?
No.
Really?
I was born in Chicago, but my grandmother raised me and my dad, and they are from Mississippi.
Okay.
So growing up in the household with family from the South on both sides, mommy and dad, you know, that's just, you know, what happens. A lot of the elders in Chicago are from like Atlanta and Mississippi and Arkansas and, you know, Tennessee and Kansas, and they all migrated up here, you know, to Chicago. I know my dad got here in 71 with my grandmother. So do you get what I'm saying? But when you're in the house and your grandmother is saying chunking and cheering, and chunking means throwing, and, you know, get over cheer, like CH, and it means here, and you don't really understand or know, but you gonna speak how you've been brought up, you know. So
absolutely. I heard the accent and I was like, I know. When you said Chicago, I'm like, I know. Because, you know, it's funny, but people in Chicago do have a little bit of a Southern accent, and it does come from that great migration
from your grandparents, because a
people
lot
that
of us
came
have
up.
been
That's
raised by our grandparents.
Absolutely.
My grandmother had my dad at 40. She was born in 1923. My dad was born in 1963.
Wow.
And so,
amen. Have you ever written a poem in the vernacular of your grandmother, or in that Southern, you know, because like I'm from the South, I'm from South Carolina. And so, you know, like my aunt would say, you know, range it. Never like, what? Range it off. Just run under the water and range it off. So have you ever thought of writing a poem in that vernacular?
You know what? My book is in that vernacular. The
Okay.
one that's coming out, Mountains. And I can give you guys a small snippet of that, like a small excerpt from that book, so you
Okay.
can kind of understand the range of my grandmother.
Okay.
Just a couple, just maybe like 1 or 2 pages from it, if
Okay.
you guys don't mind.
Sure. Sure.
Now this is in her tone now.
Okay. And so
Just
before
so-
you go, so after Dan, are you sharing with us tonight?
Yes, yes, it will be.
Okay, Lizelle, do you have something to share?
I could share something.
Okay, so let's
Yeah.
hear from
Him first,
Jacqueline.
yeah.
Well, let's
Okay.
Jacqueline, we'll hear from you, and then we'll go to, let me check the time.
Okay.
We'll
Okay.
go to a video. We'll go to a video, and then we'll come back and hear from Dan and Lizelle.
Okay.
And then we'll do a round robin if we've got time.
Okay.
Okay.
So you guys ready for me now?
Yes, we're ready for you.
Okay. 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 So this chapter of Mountains is not yet edited, so this is raw. This is very, very raw. It should be coming out in the summer. It's called Mountains Can't Rise Without Earthquakes. And this chapter is called Fight to Survive. So here goes. My vision is a little blurry, but for what I can remember, my grandmother telling the people from DCFS to take us away from her house. She said, and I quote, "I don't have enough money to take care of 5 children. Both me and my husband are on SSI. It ain't nowhere in the world I'll be able to take care of all these kids on a fixed income. It's not my fault the people don't want them." Tears welled up in my eyes as I heard the caseworker tell her that the children would be split up because no one would want to take in 5 children together. The caseworker said, "We have a program where we can pay you a monthly stipend for each child of $4.98 per child. All you have to do is attend the classes to become their foster parent." Now, after the mention of money, my grandmother's conversation changed. "How much you say?" And caseworker's reaction mirrored the reaction of my heart. On one hand, I was happy I got to stay with my brothers and sisters, and I knew my dad would come back. I just knew it. But on the other hand, though at 4 years old, I was wise enough to know that if they were not paying my grandmother, she would have thrown us out like yesterday's garbage. Now, my granddaddy pleaded with her to allow us to stay. She tried to keep a tough look on her face as she had not already decided in her mind already. But after the mention of the stipend, she was convinced enough that we'll be staying. Well, we're going to have to look for a bigger place, see, because 5 kids in this little old place is not going to work. I agree, the caseworker said. Now, we'll get back with you when we find a place. And we'll also cover the expenses for the move. I could tell by the look in my grandmother's eyes that dollar signs meant more than my parents ever getting us back. I agree, my grandmother stated. My grandfather, however, was in total disagreement. "Hell no, they ain't not getting these kids back. They on them drugs and on them whippersnappers, and I'm not letting my grandkids go back with no drug addicts. They always saying they don't want to get clean. Then they come here and they steal, and these kids steal, and they steal, and then they gone again, grown and gone. These kids are staying, and that's it. Do you hear me, Fanny Bell? I hear you. Will you live a lip man? That's all you do is fuss and cuss. Lord have mercy, if these people want to come get these kids today, let their mama and daddy do it." And that's all I got for y'all right now.
That's great. That would be a great.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi.
Go right ahead, Dr. Gadsden.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Giselle, can you hear me?
Yes. You hearing me?
I can't hear you.
Oh.
You're not muted. Okay, hold on. Let me see here. Okay.
Got something.
All right. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm doing something wrong here. Brother Chris? Brother Chris, can you come on screen there for a second?
Go right ahead.
You said you both heard, but I'm not hearing anything. Can you say something else, brother?
Yes, sir. You're having trouble with your volume.
Okay, I'm gonna go out and come back in because I'm not. Yeah, I'll go and come right back in.
Did you want to have Lizelle read a piece until you get back? Are you prepared to read a piece, Lizelle, in Dr. Gadsden's absence?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Look forward to hearing you share a piece. Go right ahead, and Dr. Snowden, welcome.
Thank you.
And we'll have you share right after Lizelle, if you don't mind, please.
Sure, by all means.
Thank you, sir.
You want me to go on now?
Please go right ahead.
Oh.
My daughter's playing in the background, so I didn't want that to interfere.
Okay. All right. This piece that I wrote, it's called Rape. And in brackets, I have my father could be white. One of my friends, she is trying to do a documentary about slaves, blacks, whites, stuff like that. And she asked me to do a poem. So this is what I did. Rape, rape that stripped us, masters that played us naked and black. My goods he wants. Raped me while I breastfeed my young. My dirt on my clothes, on my skin. Didn't ask me to clean myself, just dig in. The white child born, the mixed child born, the black child born. Our DNA is strong. We are the producers, thick skin, milk chocolate. We are the juicers. We couldn't back down or turn to the side. They raped us there with men as babies cried. My father could be white. He's looking at me. Check ancestry, you'll see. So when you white man want to trash me, remember the slave ship that sailed out into the sea. Women cried with broken skin. They weren't free. They laid down, they begged with something between their legs. Night after night, you white man had an appetite. Just remember us black women, us, you stripped us, black melanin, us, black skin. Remember us as nannies taking care of your family. The wife knows what goes on, but she didn't have a tongue. Her appetite was strong while the black guys did her, should I say wrong? We represented, some of us won the race, some of us didn't get the taste of freedom. As the cotton field awaits us to be a subject or an object to the white man, as night after night he quenches his thirst and had an appetite. No offense, white man, but we are not cursed. That's it.
See, I don't hear nothing. Yeah, I said I got it. Yeah.
I know you need to leave. You gotta leave. That's
Wow.
the only
Now, can
problem.
I
You gotta
ask
leave and
before
go back
Dr.
in.
Dan
Okay.
Just
shares? I see
leave and go
Dr.
back in.
That's what I just
Gadsden
did.
is
I'm gonna
still
do it
trying to
again.
work out his sound issues there. Now, was that fiction or nonfiction?
That is, well, the documentary she wants to do is we as Black women, we can, once we make babies, we can make white babies, Black babies, mixed babies, any kind of baby. So she was saying that there is a DNA, some DNA inside of us Black women that can bring offsprings of any color, any race.
Wow.
So she told me to do the poem to, hear me now, God, this might be too raw for this.
Sure, but it's reality. It's truth. Wow. And I'm sure that's probably therapeutic for some as well.
So it's so I just think about it, and I said, I just come up with rape because they were raped, they were brutalized, the women. So it's really it takes you back, to really understand what they've been through.
Wow.
So she's naming the documentary, what's she naming? KKK, which is the white, and the Black is KKK something. Oh, KKK versus the DNA or something like that, she is saying.
Sure. That's powerful. Dr. Dan, what's your thoughts on that piece before you share your piece, sir?
That's what's going on.
Well,
So it says
as
phone.
I can tell,
It's not saying
it was
computer
quite
audio.
graphic and quite truthful.
Let's see it here. No, well, that wasn't.
Wow. Powerful. Well, go right ahead with your piece. What do you got for us tonight, Dan?
Okay, I'll do one of my animal poems here. This one's called The Mollusks. The world has a myriad of mollusks, soft-bodied, attention-getting critters. They live on both the lands and in the seas, as well as give some people the jitters. The gastropods are one type in this group. They are stomach-footed and make much slime. Both the snails with shells and the slugs with none are pests and enigmas at the same time. Cephalopods are next on the list. Head-footed, but really with many arms.
Okay.
Octopus, squid, cuttlefish, nautilus.
Brother Chris, can you hear me?
To escape harm.
You can't hear him.
Yeah, we can't hear anybody. So we're trying to.
Two-shelled and the most common group to meet. Clams and oysters and mussels and scallops. These animals are most tasty to eat. Additional mollusks live in this world. To go towards the forefront, they do their best. However, tusk shells, cap shells, and chitons are simply not as well known as the rest. The mollusks are a diverse group indeed, occupying all manner of Earth space. As such, it is possible any day to see one type or other face to face.
Outstanding. Now, I want to ask you, Dr. Dan, before I allow Sister Lizelle to comment on that piece. Now, a lot of your topics are very deep and prolific. Now, are they subjects that you're already familiar with, or are they something that you study in addition to so you can present it and share it with the audience?
Well, y'all carry on.
Well,
I'll just figure out what's going on.
Zoology is more or less a hobby in this case. So these are this group of animals, I had known about them all the time, but never actually had the opportunity to put them to verse. But I figured, okay, well, they're here, so I'll just I'll put their names in and what group they belong to, and see if I can get some verse out of that. But no, it's actually something I knew about a long time. But I mean, I just haven't exercised it all that much. But bringing it out here gives it a refreshing feel of sorts.
Sure. And that's very educational for common people like myself. I can't speak for Lizelle. Maybe she may be a little bit more knowledgeable in some of the areas that you share. But they're very deep, prolific, and educational. So again, keep up the good work.
Oh, sure. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Excellent. What do you got to say about that piece? And I want to talk about some of your paintings. I saw some wonderful paintings that I didn't know you had that gift in you.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Dan's piece, and then we'll talk about your artwork a minute or two.
Yeah. I like how Dan take one in all his poetry, all the poem that he is saying, he takes one topic and transform it into so many ways.
Sure.
So it's like it have you like, wow, this is so many ways that you could say this line or say this particular thing, like how he talk about the mollusks, he talk about the different types of mollusks, octopus, all these different sea creatures coming together as one. I love how he phrases. I love how he puts everything together, because you might think, okay, it's just a simple poem, but it's not.
No,
it's
not.
really a lot of education, because
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
educating me too, you know?
Sure. There's
It's
a lot
really,
of levels.
you know, I love how he writes, and I love how he uses the metaphors, all these different, you know, little English stuff, you know, to combine the sentence, combine the words, combine what he's trying to, like the one he did with the date. There was one that he did. You remember that, Dan? The one he did with the date. Some night, I can't remember. It's a date or something he did some
You
time
remember
about.
that piece, Dan, that she's talking about?
I'll have to look through to see if on that one.
They call
I
it
know there was it was a speed dating poem. Yeah, that was my limerick.
Right, the speed dating. You know how he broke it down, and you know how he. I'm like, wow, this man is a man of many moods.
Sure. Now I know
But all your pieces are beautiful.
Sure, he does a very fine
thank you
job.
very much. I appreciate that, and I gotta commend you for the pieces that you put together, because they're really quite vivid, and you could just make them so they appeared. They just happened. They're everyday life. You bring a new twist to it altogether.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Now,
that's how writing comes into your mind, and you just, you know, that's just like the painting. Let me hear what you have to say.
No, that's what I was about to say. Painting and artwork is, in my opinion, I think is another form of poetry as well, or spoken word.
Yeah.
A picture's worth 1,000 words. I think you can kind of corner your paintings as a spoken word, silent spoken word. So I saw a picture. It was two individuals, and it had like a clear where you could see the background of it with the two individuals. Why don't you talk about that piece and why you created it?
All right. Sometimes I will get a piece to do, and it will be just a plain piece. And while I'm doing it, it's just like, you get, why not try this? Why not try that? So I tried that piece amongst other pieces that have tried with that centerpiece glowing. It's like this. It's like a mother and daughter. If you look at it as a mother and child.
Yes, ma'am.
And the center reflects the burning inside. The center reflects that you're alive, that you're free, that you're liberated, that there's a fire inside of you. Despite of your dark outlook, you have some sort of burning desire inside. It reflects you, your passion. It reflects you as a woman, as a child. So come a pause reason.
No, that's good. That's awesome.
These are the, so that centerpiece is just, you're seeing through that person, seeing through their heart, seeing what they're really made of. It's a piece of love. It's a piece of togetherness, of, not because they may be one way outside, but look inside my soul, look inside and see, what do you see? You see love, you see strength, you see forgiveness, you see breath, like believing things that be breathtaking for as a woman, things like that. It's all positive energy flowing from it.
Now, was that a piece of your own private collection, or was that a piece that you actually had on the market for others to buy and purchase?
Yeah, to buy. This artist, I got her from one of my friends who is on Facebook, Edna White, and I reached out to her, and she said, listen, I need to get some pieces to show the world. So I was like, show the world, and I just filled out the application and sent it, and I was like, well, I hope that I'll be selected. And then I saw the email, your piece has been selected to be.
Wow.
So it's going every day. She shows a piece.
Sure.
Every day she shows a piece. So it's till, when is the 30th? Sunday. So Sunday is the
ma'am.
last day.
Okay.
Then I saw she came with another thing. This one is another thing to enter your stuff into. So I'll check it out and see what pieces I have to submit.
That's awesome. Now, has that piece sold yet, or is it still for
No, I
sale?
still have it. I still have it.
Okay, so I think Dr. Gadsden's joining us by phone now. Go right ahead, Dr. Gadsden. You're on live, bro.
Okay, let me,
Looks like I can hear you guys and everything here.
I got you. Go right ahead,
Okay,
Dr.
great.
Gadsden. You're good.
Right now, hey, hello, hey, Lucille, how you doing? I
I'm
haven't
good.
heard a word you said, but I can see you were rolling. That's excellent. And who else is on there? I think Chris said that Dr. Dan is on there. Dr. Dan, are you on?
Yeah, sure am.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic, fantastic. Who else? Is anyone else on? I think I know
Yes.
Nan was trying to get in. Nan Swanson was trying to get in.
She never
And
came
so
back.
anyhow,
Sorry.
I came back, sorry about, well, you know, folks, I'm sorry we had so much technical difficulty here tonight. I'm not sure what's going on with this sound now. First I couldn't get on, and now there's no sound there. You know, it is what it is. I should have thought about the phone a long time ago. But how you doing, Bill?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Good,
How
good.
about you? Despite of your hiccups, how have you been?
I'm doing great, doing very good. Yeah, you know, just one of those things, one of those nights, right? And
Yeah.
Dr. Dan, how you doing? Huh?
Oh, okay. Thanks. Wow, much better. Thanks. Recovered from that flu and all, so I'm doing much better now.
Oh, you had the flu. Okay. Oh, man. Okay. Real good. I'm glad you're over that. That's some nasty stuff. Well, I saw Lazille was reading. I'm sorry I missed your poem and everything, but we'll get back to that. Dan, did you read anything yet?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Good. And Brother Chris, I know we're way into it. I don't know if you had a video that you could possibly show. You know, if you had anything lined up for us. I know we only have about a half an hour left here.
The number one problem in Christianity is not the enemy. It's biblical illiteracy. You feel me? See, we want to blame all of our problems on the devil or spiritual warfare, but the real problem is when it comes to the Bible, most of us don't even care. You see, if the Bible is God's love letter to us, then why don't we read it? Most of us go through the Christian life acting like we don't even need it. But don't be too hard on yourself, because it's not all on you. Satan's plan has always been to deceive and to confuse you. But if you want to know the enemy's plan, come near, let me make it clear. Tactic number one, doubt. You see, he wants you to doubt God's purposes, God's promises, and God's plan. Don't you see? He's been doing it since the Garden of Eden. Did God really say, said the serpent? He wants you to think that it's just some antiquated book that's no longer relevant. Tactic number two, busyness. He wants to fill your life with so many good things that you never get to the God things. He'll use just about anything just to steal your time away from the King of Kings, because he knows how much power a Christian can receive when, like Mary, we sit at Jesus' feet. But instead, we'd rather be like Martha, walking around with our spiritual gas tanks on E, chasing the dollar and living the American dream. Trying to pour into others from an empty cup because we're so busy enjoying our lives and living it up that a week goes by and we don't even realize that our busyness has left us spiritually dry. I just don't have time. I'm just too busy, you say. But you're the same person who spends 3 hours on Instagram every day. Jesus said, follow me, but we're more interested in following Cardi B, someone whom we've probably never even seen. But let's move on to tactic number three, guilt. You see, the enemy wants to deceive you into thinking that you've done something so wrong that you don't even belong in the game. So why even call on his name? Because if I do, I'll just be shamed. And pastors, you're not off the hook either, because if I came into your church, would I think you're a pastor or just a motivational speaker using one or two scriptures in our sermons because we want to play it safe, and we wonder why so many Christians are deconstructing their faith. I don't believe anymore is all that they say. Now, pastors, I'm not saying that you're totally to blame, because you can do everything you can and still people may want to exit the game. But could it be that we're spending too much time getting them into a small group than getting them into the Word, or simply constantly asking them to serve? But now let's get back to you and I. I want to leave you on a high, because the good news is that no matter how long you've been away, your God just wants to spend time with you every single day. So turn off social media and hear what he has to say. So let's put aside all of the excuses and dig into the Word of God so we can let God use us and stop letting the enemy confuse us, because everything we do in this Christian life depends on one thing: how much time we spend with the King. Let's work together to make biblical illiteracy extinct.
That's good. Very good. I like that. What is his name? Parr, I think his name was, P-A-R-R, something like that. Very good. Great message. So one of the things that I want to say very quickly is we have a couple things coming up. Number one, there's a brother coming into Harrisburg on May the 8th. And it's going to be down at St. Stephen's Church on Front Street. And it's going to be around the whole issue of the chokehold and Black men in the criminal justice system, and I wish I had the flyer in front of me. I know it's a free, program, but this brother, I understand, is a dynamic speaker and has a lot to say about that use of the chokehold that has killed so many of our people by police, and it's been outlawed, in fact, but still being utilized. Whenever the police find themselves getting frustrated, they resort back to certain things. You got to be careful about that. But anyhow, that's going to be an excellent program, something I think our community needs to embrace and think about, and how to stay out of the range of the chokehold. Because believe me, police get frustrated very quickly and things can escalate. And I've seen some dynamite things, by the way, on Facebook, where this one brother in particular, I think he's an attorney, but also a former police officer. And he talks about how to, avoid certain things. And he'll show you an actual scene, something actually has happened from the police cam. And then he'll tell you if the police were doing something that really was illegal. They make it sound like they have to do it, but they really don't, because a lot of times get escalated. But also what we do when we're stopped and how we resist and do different things that causes some of the problems that we encounter. So anyhow, it's very good stuff. Also on May the 13th, I think that's May the 8th, May the 7th or 8th. Then on the 13th, I know for sure we're going to have a program featuring Keontae Ricks, who's a very fine spoken word artist. He's been on our show a number of times. And Keontae, this is coming up also. But on May the 13th, Keontae will be speaking 10 a.m. in the morning until 12 noon. And then we're going to come back to that particular flyer. But from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, we're going to have not just Keontae speaking, but we're going to have a book signing. He has a book out called My Story. Also, he's going to talk about African Americans in the criminal justice system and all the different, variations of things that happen and what we need to look out for. And we hope to have other speakers as well. We will have other speakers. It'll take place at Harrisburg University of Science and Technology, located at 326 Market Street in Harrisburg. And it's a morning program again from 10 to 12. We thought about a 3-hour, but we thought, no, people, 2 hours is more than enough time. And Keontae has been putting out some dynamic, videos, as well as he ran a piece down for me today that was just, I thought, brilliant. So anyhow, he's a young man on the move. He also spent a number of years in prison, in the federal prison, having been wrongly accused, and he was exonerated and has been out and doing the good fight. He's been all over the place talking about, what happens to people when they are incarcerated and then found to be innocent. There are states like Pennsylvania that do not compensate people. So, I just saw the worst 10 sentences of people who spend a lot of time in prison and then were found to be innocent because of DNA and other things. And in some states like New York, they've been given $1.2 million or, $2.5 million. But in other states like Pennsylvania, Keontae spent some 14 years in prison. Guess what? Never got a dime, never, hardly even an apology. They just said, oh, we made a mistake and boom, that was that. But anyhow, so it is what it is. That's 2 programs. One, like I said, May the 8th, I believe it is, and then May the 13th. Now, Brother Chris has brought up a flyer that I want to talk about as well real quickly, and that's also on May the 13th. That'll start at 2 o'clock, and it's for adults only. It is a pre-Mother's Day program, and as you can see, we're going to have some wonderful music. We're going to have 4 stations set up with a sip and paint, and I know we have a very fine painter on here in Lucille. I've seen some of her work, absolutely outstanding, and I wish we could have you down here, Lucille, for this. But anyhow, it's going to be outside there at 900 South Arlington Avenue, and if it rains, then we will be inside. We've already made that arrangement. But we're going to have, bingo. We're giving out prizes, not cash, and then also we're going to have another area where we can have karaoke and some other things going on as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. And it's for Mother's Day. It's a pre-Mother's Day program. Remember, Mother's Day is on May the 14th. And this will take place at 900 South Arlington Avenue, which is the United Church Center, by the way. And, we've gotten permission to be outside or inside and just have a good time. So mothers, people, bring your mother out and, have a good time, okay? It's all free. And we want to thank Giant Foods, who is one of our sponsors, as well as Aetna. They'll be sponsoring as well. So it's gonna be good. Anyhow, that's what's going on, and that's just a few things that's being sponsored by the Writers WordShop and Life Esteem Incorporated. Okay, all right. So, and by the way, very quickly, that the one on May the 13th in the morning, the Writers WordShop is underwriting that in terms of getting the space and all that. But we've formed a Christian fellowship of men that meet on Thursday mornings. And African American men at this point, we're looking to really make some, impact in our community. And good men have come out. A lot of good men are coming out for the breakfast. It's every Thursday morning at 9 a.m. over at the Peachtree Restaurant. And this will be our first endeavor. We're going to do. We have 5 areas that we've identified, and the criminal justice system is one. The other one is financial literacy. We need to know. How to, manage our finances, because, when we don't and we make those mistakes, we put ourselves in jeopardy. So anyhow, that's going to be, something else that's coming up. But anyhow, thank you. And, hope that you'll come out. These are always free programs, by the way. Lazille, I hope you have another poem in you. Do you have something else you could share?
I'm looking for it. I don't know if Dan wants to go ahead.
Okay, look for one.
I'm looking for it. I just had it and it's...
Okay. Well, why don't you find that now? Ask Dan if he'll find one as well. Dr. Dan, if you can find a poem too. I appreciate that. Don't forget folks, that we have coming up. Juneteenth will take place in May, not in May, in June. And, we have some things coming up in June as well. We will have a dynamic Juneteenth program as well as a fatherhood program during the month of June. Again, sponsored by the Writers Workshop and Life Esteem Incorporated. So, and don't forget, we come on every Friday night right here on The Voice, when we don't have technical difficulties, on The Voice, 17104 Harrisburg. And we look forward to having you always to be a very special guest here. And I don't mind inviting you to Life Esteem Ministries we're here on the Vartan Way. And, we have a wonderful service. And, if you're interested in coming out, we hope that you are. We go to work. We do things. The brother mentioned about being a servant. Well, we believe in being, servant leaders. And so we do things in the community that will enrich the lives of people, such as our family programs and other things that we have going. 3600 Vartan Way. That's wonderful. I love that flyer, by the way. I wish I had asked Brother Chris to put that in the booklet for the hair story that's coming up, which is next week. By the way, our host next week will be Wendy Nocherione, and she will be hosting the Writers Workshop, because Pat and I will be attending the hair story, which is written by Maria Chow, a fantastic poet, and directed by Ro Brady, who comes on every week with us here at the Writers Workshop. Ro is the director of the play, and the play was conceived by and written by Maria James Chow. And it's going to be a happening. Everybody, we got our tickets, and noticed that a whole bunch of people already signed up for the 4 shows that will take place on, that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then they're going to have special showings of the play in our local high schools. So that's good stuff. I'm going to turn to Lucille right now. Lucille, I hope you have a piece for us. What do you have? You're still muted there.
You're muted, Lizelle.
Yeah, you're muted. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right. It's called Melanin Will Never Be Broken.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Black don't crack because it sings with high notes, notes that shapes perfection of the black seed, the system that dragged and stripped us of our roots, grind us into the dust, but we shook it off. We got tired of being choked. I can't breathe. It's no joke. They tried to shame us, strip us, even stigmatize us. But our melanin stood strong. Not even shackles and chains held us back. Our strength that no one comprehends is a mark of resilience. It's a mark of intense. It's not the end, but just the beginning. Our voices will sing and bring down heavenly showers of blessings and love to wet this earth and wet our feet as we march, not to the gas chamber, but to freedom. We are proud with fist in the air, claiming our boundaries. Melanin will never be broken, even if they try. Our skin shines like the sun, like precious gold. It's never wasted. We are chosen. We are gifted. Rise, shine, and represent. Let the ancestors smile. Let them feel their work was not in vain, but of gain. Let the earth shake because of our roar. We will continue to climb that mountain. We will continue to soar.
Nice. I like that. I like the reading also. Powerful, very powerful. Way to go. Good. I like that. Yeah. Did you publish that yet?
No.
Okay. Well, work on that because more people need to hear that. That's good. Very good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Dr. Dan, let's get a poem from you, brother.
Okay. Since I did a poem about one animal group beforehand, here's another one with the arthropods. None of us can escape the arthropods, animals with jointed legs and feet. With the widest ranges of species, their numbers on planet Earth can't be beat. The insects are the largest in this group, with types such as ants, beetles, wasps, and bees, mantises, grasshoppers, and butterflies, and pests such as flies, earwigs, lice, and fleas. Arachnids are quite familiar to all, with spiders and scorpions in the mix. There are also some pesky members here, those accursed critters called mites and ticks. Some arthropods carry many leg pairs, one or two sets attached to each segment. These creatures are called the myriapods, millipedes and centipedes names common. The last group of arthropods in this piece are known for being water-dwelling beasts. Crabs, lobsters, shrimp, and barnacles fit here. Landforms like the sowbug exist at least. So arthropods are all over the place, covering all habitat and form, thus encountering the varied creatures, on the whole, disqualifies as the norm.
Good stuff. Every time I hear a piece that you write in that vein, I think of illustrator. You need to have an illustrator and have young people, in particular, young kids, school students, read your poetry and also see the illustrations. I think that'd be powerful. Oh
yeah, I would have to agree, and that might give you an idea to. I mean, if I publish something here, I think I may put all the animal poems together, and that's the best base. That would be the best place for an illustrator to come into play.
Yeah, you really should. Yeah, I know a couple people who are supposed to be, pretty good illustrators, and someone like Floyd Stokes has different illustrators for his books, which he has many, and there are other people out there. So, think about it, Dan. I really think if you commit to your animal poems and have an illustrator, I think you'll be a big hit with the schools, school districts, and all that. So yeah, man, good stuff, good stuff. So 2 great poems. Thank you both. 2 different styles, 2 different subject matters, but both very, very powerfully presented. And that's what it's all about. And by the way, anytime we do anything, in the community, we always try to include poets. One of the things we did was we used to always have our information published, and we would, put it on Facebook and everything. And then along came some people with, bad intentions who wanted to, take over and use curse words and profanity and all kinds of stuff, pornography, just disgusting folks out there sometimes, they're there. Let's just be honest about it. And they rear their ugly head when they can. So, I do have a mindset, though, to want to go back to publishing our information so that anybody that wants to take, advantage of this can. And then if we find that it's just going to be, a sideshow, we may have to just pull it down again and change our numbers. But I'm going to get Brother Chris in here real quick. We're going to have about 5 minutes left. And after all of the ups and the downs, this and the that, we still got some WordShop in tonight. So I feel good. Brother Chris, can you come back on? I know he's out there. He's probably doing something.
I'm sorry,
there you go.
my wife was talking to me. What'd you say? I'm sorry.
You say your wife was talking to you, oh, man. Don't put me in the middle of that.
Yeah, she's talking to me.
Oh, no.
She was in my ear. I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention.
You better go on back.
No, go ahead.
How you doing?
Sorry. What did you need?
But the thing is, we at one point used to always publish our number, the Zoom information and ID information in our little ads there, and it just drew more people in,
Sure.
And then we sort of stopped doing that because of all of the craziness that took place more than once. Actually, they came on one time and really act crazy. And then another time they tried to come on and act crazy and you shut them down. I want to kind of go back to putting it out there to see whether or not, we can, get back into normal and see what happens. I mean, I don't want people to feel like they're not a part of this.
Sure.
And anytime they want to come on, they can. And I hate to have people who have bad intentions to spoil it for, everybody else.
And that's the danger. That's the danger of that, because I think if you actually look at some of the posts with the flyer promoting the Writers Workshop, there are fake accounts asking for the ID. So I think it's almost set up for something we could potentially avoid. So I think if you just announce during the show that it's available, and if you want it, we could send it to you right in the messenger. I think it'll be better than posting it for the public, because there are just a lot of people who got too much time on their hands. That's just my opinion. If you want to try it, then you can. But I've seen people already fish for it that aren't real accounts. That makes you kind of wonder what their intentions are.
I appreciate you, brother. That's why I should have come on. And I agree. I just want to test the waters with that. So the best way to do that then is just to let people know they can email. We'll email them if they email us, or how do we want to do that?
Right in the comments section. Right in the comments section of the video, the live video.
Okay.
As we're live, just mention it several times during the show. Then if someone wants it, just request it in the comments section, and then we could inbox it to them directly.
But even then, they could still come on and cause a whole bunch of nonsense. So how do we?
Yeah, when they inbox us for the ID, if it's not someone familiar, we can already do a little bit of our homework as we're getting ready to send it to inbox it to them. We can just check their profile real quick. I mean, if it's someone we don't know. Yeah,
I agree. One of the things I love it when Queenie comes on and she's able to bring us various writers and poets, and
she was on. She's in the comment section too.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe what we'll do is just by invitation only, just stick with that, and then have the various members identify people that can come on and add to the show, the conversation. Like Lizelle, we'd love for you to identify some poets in New York there that writers in New York that can come on and join in with us, and you know them, so you know what their character is. I'll say the same thing to Ro, to Wendy, to Dan, to anybody that is consistently coming on, and make sure that they understand the parameters. We don't do the profanity and all that. So, all right, Brother Chris, thank you, man. Appreciate the advice. I accept it, and I think that's the way we ought to roll. Listen, it's about that time, and so I just want to thank everybody for hanging in there, coming on. I'm so sorry that I had so much technical difficulty tonight and wasn't able to make things happen the way we normally do. But we are on here, The Voice 17104 Harrisburg every Friday night. Thanks be to God from 7 until 9 and p.m. that is, and we have a good time. We have people like Lizelle Powder. No, that's not your last name. What's your last name, Lizelle?
That's it, Powder.
Powder, I did say it right. Okay.
Yeah,
yeah. All right. And then, of course, Dr. Dan Snowden, Wendy Nocherione, Ro Brady, Neil Owens, Queenie Clem, and others that come on, from time to time, such as Keontae Ricks, Maria James Child has been on before, and so many others. So anyhow, it's just a great venue for writers, and I hope that we'll continue to be blessed to continue this, avenue. Anyhow, thank you all for coming on tonight, and we hope that you will see you next Friday night. I will be again going to the Harris story, play, but Wendy Nocherione will be our guest host, and I hope that you will join her and all the others who come on to Writers Workshop. God bless you. Have a good night. Okay.
Have a good night.
Thank you.